Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Now, just enjoy the video to difference between micro and macroeconomics.
Microeconomics versus macroeconomics. The study of economics is divided into two major branches, microeconomics and macroeconomics. Microeconomics comes from the Greek word mikros, meaning small. Microeconomics deals with the behavior of individual actors in the economy. It can mean one consumer, one household, one firm, or even one industry. Some questions we aim to answer in microeconomics are: if price of cars go up, what happens to consumer demand? If income levels of people increase, how will demand for meat change? So microeconomics deals with the individual parts of the economy. When we hear microeconomics, think small. Macroeconomics comes from the Greek word makros, meaning big. In macroeconomics, we are interested in the economy as a whole. For example, the country's unemployment rate, changes in prices of goods, or inflation. National income, which is often referred as GDP. Some questions we try to answer in macroeconomics are: what happens if money supply increase? What causes the economy to grow over time? So in a nutshell, macroeconomics studies the economy as a whole. When you hear macroeconomics, think big. And you know what? Microeconomics and macroeconomics are interrelated. To understand macroeconomics, we got to understand microeconomics. For instance, a typical question we ask in macroeconomics is: when interest rates go down, how will GDP change? To answer this question, we need to first understand microeconomics. How will a consumer respond to an interest rate drop? Will consumers start saving less? How will a firm respond to an interest rate drop? Will a firm start investing more? Once we understand the behaviors of individual agents, we can then understand the economy as a whole.
Now, let us look at the second video regarding the same subtopic from the different perspective.
Let's start with microeconomics. You can think of micro as meaning small. Of course, to see small things, you need to look through a microscope. Microeconomics is the study of decision-making by individual households and firms. Microeconomics also examines prices of individual goods and the market structures in which those goods are produced. Macroeconomics deals with aggregates or totals. Macro is the study of the economy as a whole. Here we examine economy-wide phenomena, such as the unemployment rate, economic growth, price levels, and gross domestic product, or GDP. Here are some quick examples. Suppose that during a recession, Alfred loses his job. We want to see how this decrease in income affects his consumption. This topic would be studied in microeconomics because we're looking at the actions of one individual. On the other hand, suppose that during that same recession, the unemployment rate increased to 11%. This overall unemployment rate and its effects on aggregate demand would be studied in macroeconomics. Another tougher example. Let's look at the price of gas. Would this be studied in micro or macroeconomics? Well, you might look and think that since everyone uses gas, and that an increase in the price of gas would affect everybody, it must be studied in macroeconomics. But gas is just one good. The price of gas, as well as factors that could cause the price of gas to rise or fall, are studied in microeconomics. On the other hand, if we were to discuss the rising or falling of all prices in general, also called the price level, which is related to inflation, those topics would be covered in macroeconomics.